You're listening to Small Business in Small Bites, a podcast designed to help you better understand your customers, your business, and even yourself one easily digestible idea at a time. Now here's John Preston.
Today I want to take a moment to talk about what it means to do Facebook. I hear that a lot from business owners who basically, when we're talking about advertising and marketing, they say, I do Facebook. What does that mean? Well, it could mean one of three things. The first and universal part of it is they have a Facebook page. As I mentioned in a previous post, having a Facebook page is no longer optional in today's world. For many people, when they're deciding whether to use your business, they go check out your Facebook page. It's where they get information and they get specifics and they get phone numbers and all of that kind of thing. So that's no longer an option and it's not marketing. The second thing they could be referencing is they advertise on Facebook. Now, this is where you pay Facebook to have an ad or a link to your Facebook page inserted into the news stream of potential customers. It's very targeted. You can target very specific demographics. However, it usually irritates people. I mean, think about your own experience. When you're going through your news stream, reading about the posts from your friends and family, do you get excited when you see an ad for a business pop up in there, or does it annoy you? Now, as I've mentioned before, the way to get around that is to marry your Facebook advertising with a branding campaign. So when people see your business, they feel comfortable with it. It's no longer intrusive, and thereby you don't have that little irritation that comes with a standard Facebook page for a business they haven't heard of. Now, the third option, and this is where Facebook can have a lot of power in attracting customers, is to actually use social marketing. We're talking specifically about Facebook, but the same exact thing I'm talking about applies to all social media platforms. Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever you use as your platform, it still applies. With social marketing, you actually engage customers in conversation and allow them to learn about you in that way, and it also encourages them to use your product. The problem is, most businesses think they're doing social marketing, but they're not. They're just kind of putting their information out there and hoping people find it. What do I mean by that? To give you an example of what I mean, I'm going to take a look at two businesses I recently spoke to. Both of them told me the same thing. I do Facebook. So I went to their pages and looked at their pages and saw two incredibly different stories. Business one was a flooring company, has had a Facebook page since 2012 for 8 years. They have 698 likes to their page, which, first of all, ignore that number. It's great to have, it's good to have, it's good bragging rights, but the truth of the matter is it does not reflect an engagement with the audience. You need a proof of that. Go to your own profile, open up your likes page, and see how many businesses you have liked over the years that you don't ever remember liking and haven't heard anything from since. If you're like most Americans, when you look at your own likes, you're like, why did I like those people? I don't even know who they are. So the actual page likes is not a good indicator of how you're connecting with people. What is a good indicator is how much response you get when you make a post. Do you get a lot of likes? Do you get a lot of comments? Do you get questions? Do you get interaction? Social media advertising and marketing is all about interaction. So if you make a post and you only get a couple of likes, that post didn't work because nobody interacted with it. So I looked at this particular flooring company. Like I said, they had almost 700 page likes, but their last several posts had very little interaction. And the interaction was always with the same people. You know, I looked at it, and they had made 4 posts in the last 3 months, and the most likes that any of those posts had gotten were 6. And if you look at who liked them, it was the same 6 people over and over again. I don't know if it was family and friends of the owners or what. So in essence, their doing Facebook campaign is reaching 6 people who already have relationships with their business. Not really a good way to build a strong business. On the other hand, there's a deli I met with, and they said they do Facebook. Well, for the record, they do Facebook right. I went to their page, and they've only had a page for 3 years because that's all they've been in existence. And they had over 8,000 likes. Now, that's still not an indication of how many people are following their product. But when you look at a comparative perspective, the other company had 600 after 8 years, and they have 8,000 after 3 years. So that's a pretty good ballpark that they've done a better job reaching people initially. If I want to see if they're reaching customers, I'm looking at their interaction they get on their posts. First thing I noticed is they have posted 28 times in the past 7 days. 28 times in 7 days with pictures. Now, the reason that number is so important is because when you post on Facebook or any other social media, that's the point when you're most likely to appear higher in somebody's news stream. If you're only posting occasionally, like once a week, once a month, something like that, your posts get pushed down so far that somebody would have to scroll down literally for 30 minutes, 45 minutes to see your post. Where when you're posting regularly, there's a really good chance that you will show up in their news stream because you're constantly giving them something fresh to put in there. The other thing Facebook does is they reward people who post more because they give their posts a priority in the news streams. So that's why that 28 posts in 7 days actually is almost mandatory to reach people through social media. In addition, every time someone commented on a post, they responded. And I'm suspecting that they also took that one step further, and every time somebody liked a post, they reached out to that person personally to thank them for liking the post. Because those are the things you do to create a powerful Facebook or social media campaign. It's all about socially interacting. So when I looked at their posts, I'm seeing 20, 30, 40, 50 reactions to every post they make. And they're interacting with it. So they are doing Facebook in a way that is actually interacting with customers and growing their business. Neither side is paying for Facebook. When I talk about paying, I'm saying they're not shelling out any cash to have a Facebook page. However, as a business owner, time is money. And the time you're spending interacting on social media is time that you could be doing other things. So when you are figuring out the cost of your marketing, always remember that. It's not always just about the actual check you write. It's about how much time you're having to do to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And social media can be an enormously powerful way of reaching customers, but it can also be a time suck and really cost you in the number of hours you spend on it. If you look at these so-called social media influencers out there, the ones who have thousands of followings or even some case hundreds of thousands of followings, they spend 8 to 12 hours a day interacting with people on social media. And that's the key. So when you are figuring out what you're going to do, if you're going to do Facebook and do Facebook right and attract customers, you have to know it is a time commitment. And you have to figure out how much is my time worth or how much do I have to pay someone else to do it. Because other means will often accomplish a lot of that same work without the level of actual effort.